All right, so we've already looked at equation of the line and when to use this first formula on page 18 of the log tables, the y minus y1. So you use that when you're asked to find the equation of a line, okay? So you might be given 2 points, get the slope first, and then sub the slope and one of the points in to get the equation, or maybe you'd be given 1 point and the slope, and you sub those in and you get the equation of the line. Okay, this other formula then, y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, so what I mentioned briefly in the last video, you use that when you are given the equation of a line. All right, so if you are given the equation of a line, you can use that formula to find out information about the line. Okay, what is important is the equation of the line looks like this. So you've got y on its own on the left hand side, no number in front of it, equals something x, so some number x plus some number. Okay, so if we look at this one here, y is equal to 3x plus 4. If I write the y equals mx plus c formula, all right, so what's in front of the x in mine? It's 3. Okay, so in place of the m is 3. What does m mean in coordinate geometry of the line? It's slope. Okay, you'll see it there in the log tables that for the slope formula, it's called m. Okay, so whatever number is in front of the x, that's your slope. Okay, so your slope is 3 for that line. Okay, the number on its own at the end then, the plus 4, so that's taking the place of c in the formula. And again, if you actually look at these log tables, y is equal to mx plus c, and this bit up here kind of tells you a little bit how to kind of use the formula. And if you look at this line, it crosses the y-axis up at this point here, and it tells me the coordinates at that point is 0, c. So I know this line crosses the y-axis at the point 0, 4. Okay, so as long as you have the equation of the line in this form, y equals mx plus c, so y equals some number x plus some number, whatever is in front of the x is your slope, so the slope of this line must be 3, and whatever number is on its own at the end, so just the plus 4 here, that's the y coordinate of where it crosses the y-axis. So this must cross at 0, 4. Okay, so very roughly, what does this line look like? Well, it crosses the y-axis at 0, 4, and it's got a slope of plus 3. So really roughly, it looks something like that. Okay, that's 0, 4, and its slope is 3. This one here, y is equal to minus 2x minus 6. So is it in the form I want? Yes. Y is on its own on the left-hand side. That's what you need. Okay, you don't want minus y. You don't want a number in front of the y. You don't want anything else over on the left-hand side. That's what I've got here. Okay, so as long as you've got that, whatever is in front of the x, that's your slope. So your slope here is minus 2, and the number on its own at the end is the y coordinate of where it crosses the y-axis. So this much crosses y at 0, minus 6. So it'll always be 0 something. It'll always be 0 whatever you've got here. Don't forget to take in the sign in front of it. Alright, so very roughly, what will that look like? Say minus 6 is down there. It'll roughly look like something like that. Okay, where that's 0, minus 6, and that's minus 2. Okay, so sometimes in questions you're going to be given the equation of the line and you need to get the slope, or maybe where it crosses the y-axis from that. I would say the slope probably the more common one you're expected to get. Next one, y is equal to a half x minus 7. Is this in the form I want? Yes. Y is on its own on the left hand side. Okay, so I can just read off this what's in front of the x. It's a half, so your slope m is equal to a half. And where does it cross the y-axis? It's always 0 something, and it's 0 minus 7 in this case. Okay, so again, y equals mx plus c. M is always slope. C then, there's your little reminder up there, 0c. It's where it crosses the y-axis. Next one then is our first slightly kind of trickier one. I've got 2y equals 4x minus 6. Is this in the form that I want? No, it's not. Okay, I want y on its own on the left hand side. Here, I've got a 2 in front of my y. Okay, I need to get rid of that 2. So what does 2y mean? It means y multiplied by 2. What's the opposite of multiplying by 2? It's divided by 2. So if you divide that by 2, you'll get rid of the 2 in front of the y. If you divide that by 2, you need to divide everything else by 2. You can't just change, so this is the equation of a line, you can't change one part of an equation. You'll change the entire equation. So you need to do the same thing to everything else. So divide that by 2 and divide that by 2 as well. 2y divided by 2 is 1y, or just y. That's why we're doing this, to get just the y there. 4x divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Minus 6 divided by 2 minus divided by a positive is minus. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then just, that's 4x divided by 2, so I should have 2x there. Okay, so y is equal to 2x minus 3. Is it in the form I want now? Yes, it is. Okay, the y is on its own on the left hand side. So now I can just read off what's in front of the x. It's 2. So the slope of this is 2, and what's on its own at the end? It's minus 3. So this thing is going to cross the y-axis at 0, minus 3. So they're the two pieces of information I can get from the equation. Next one then is another one which is not in the form I need it to be to do this. So if I was asked for the slope, or where this one crosses the y-axis, it's in the form, it's currently 3x minus 5y plus 10 equals 0. That's actually in the form ax plus by plus c equals 0. That form we were always trying to get our equations to line in when we were actually getting them. So that's a really common other form for the equation to be in. I won't worry too much about that for now. But if we want the slope of this and we want where this crosses the y-axis, I need to make it look like this. Okay, so I only want y on the left hand side. I want everything else on the right hand side. So let's do that. Let's leave the y where it is. So I've got minus 5y that I'm leaving on the left hand side. That is minus 5y. Don't forget, the signs belong to the number they're in front of. So this is negative 5y. Is equal to, I bring 3x over to the other side of the equal sign. If you bring something over the other side of an equal sign, it becomes minus. So that is minus 3x. Plus 10 then, if you bring plus 10 over, it becomes minus 10. So I'm getting there now. Okay, I've got the y on its own on the left hand side, I've got something x, and I've got some number. Problem now is I've got a number in front of my y. I don't want that. Okay, I want y on its own on the left hand side. So to get rid of this minus 5 in front of the y, I am going to divide by minus 5. So remember, this means y multiplied by minus 5. So dividing by minus 5 is going to get rid of that, which means I need to divide this by minus 5 and this by minus 5. All right, so minus 5y divided by minus 5 is just y is equal to minus 3 divided by minus 5. Minus divided by a minus is a plus, and then you can just leave it as 3 over 5. Okay, because this is going to be slope when we generally leave slope as fractions. So I wouldn't go changing that to a decimal or anything. So it's just 3 over 5x is how I would write it. Then I've got minus 10 divided by minus 5. Minus divided by a minus is a plus. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So plus 2. So is it in the form that I want now? Yes. Y is on its own on the left-hand side. So let's just read off. My slope is whatever is in front of the x. So slope is 3 over 5. And then where across the y-axis is the number on its own at the end. So crosses y where 0, 2. All right. So y equals mx plus c is used when you are given the equation of a line and you need to get either the slope or where it crosses the y-axis. Okay, I would say slope is the more common one you'd be asked to get. Okay, if it looks like one of the first 3 examples already, then it's quite straightforward. If there's a number in front of the y, you might need to divide across just to get the y on its own. If everything's maybe over one side equal to 0, well then you need to get y on the left hand side, everything else over to the right hand side. You might need to get rid of then something in front of the y and then apply the formula. It needs to look exactly like this. So just y on its own equals some number x plus some number. All right.